Hey guys, this is the 17th video in the LibGDX desktop tutorial. So we're pretty much almost done with this game. We have the high scores we can play, and the game pretty much works itself out, and then you can get killed and then get game over, and you're allowed to enter your high score. The only thing left pretty much for the Asteroid game is to include the flying saucers. And so yeah, that's the last thing pretty much. It might take one or two videos, probably two. I'll use this video to create the flying saucers, and then in the final video I'll do the all the collision stuff. So basically, this is what our flying saucer is going to look like. I didn't want to do anything fancy. Just something with 6 points, all arranged like this, so it's easy to draw. I just draw from all the points to the next one, and then I draw one from 0 to 3, and there's your flying saucer. And the way that the flying saucer is going to move is pretty simple. First of all, I decide randomly if the flying saucer is going to travel to the right or to the left. And basically I pick a random point along the height of the game, say over here. It goes forward some amount, then it goes forward down some amount, and then it goes forward again until it's out of the screen. So that's pretty much the movement pattern for the flying saucer. And if you remember, over here we have our play state, and it has a reference to everything. Player has a reference to the bullets list also. Now we're going to do flying saucers, enemy bullets, and we're going to have the flying saucer have reference to the enemy bullets. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the last entity we're making, last space object, so let's go ahead. Call this flying saucer. Oh, I spelled it wrong. This is AU. Okay, and of course that extends space object. And like I showed you over here, it needs a reference to the enemy's bullet list, so that's what we're going to do here. Private array list bullet, and just call it bullets. Private int type. There are going to be two types of not asteroids, flying saucers. There's going to be the small there's going to be the small flying saucer. I can't stop saying asteroids. Small flying saucers and the large ones. The small ones are the ones that are dangerous because they actually try to shoot at you, and the larger ones aren't that dangerous because they're a bigger target and they shoot randomly. In a random direction, I mean. So that's pretty much that. Public static final int large, as big as 0, doesn't really matter. Small as 1. Private int score. This is how many points the flying saucer is worth. And we need a timer so that this thing can keep shooting at set intervals. Private float fire timer and fire time. So this is how long it takes to shoot, like maybe 1 second per shot or whatever. And this is the accumulator to show how much time has passed since the last shot, and we have to compare it with the fire timer to see if the flying saucer should shoot again. And we need a reference to the player. This is another thing. I should have like an arrow going over here, because this is another dependency. Flying saucer should have a reference to the player. This is 3. I'm just gonna draw it in like that, and for some reason it disappeared. That's okay. Oh, I'm in the wrong I'm in the wrong layer. My bad. There we go. Flying saucers needs a reference to the player because the small flying saucers need to know where the player is in order to shoot at it. So, private float path time. This is what I'm going to use these variables to have the flying saucer move around. So like I said, the flying saucer path looks like this. It just moves for a certain amount of time, then it goes down for a certain amount of time, then it moves again, and until it reaches the end of the screen. So that's what the path timer is for. And path time, I guess, I don't know if this is the best way to do it. This is just the way that I did it, so you can obviously figure out if there's a better way to do it, and go ahead. Private indirection, obviously only left and right here. So I'm just going to put those in here. There we go. And of course, private boolean remove, if we should remove it. The only times we remove the flying saucer are if it gets killed or if it goes off the screen. So the constructor, public flying saucer, we need the type, the direction, and we need a reference to the player, and I'll just move this down. Type, direction, player, and we also need the reference to the enemies bullet list over here. So that's array list bullet. Just call it bullets. Oops. There we go. Okay. So that's that. Let's just set all those. This dot type is type. This dot direction is direction. This dot player is player. This dot bullet is bullet. Oh, whatever. Okay, so the speed of the flying saucer is constant. It's gonna be 70. If direction is left, then obviously it's gonna be moving to the right, or left, I mean. So the x is gonna be negative speed. X is gonna start out at game width, so it's gonna start off at the right side of the screen and work its way to the left. Otherwise, direction is right, then we're going to start off, we're going to be going to the right, the x is speed, and we're going to start off at the left side of the screen, x is 0. Where it starts up in the y direction is going to be y direction is going to be random along the height of the game, so anywhere from math util is at random, anywhere from 0 to the game's height would be fine. Just import math utils there. Okay, and like every other space object, we also have shape X and shape Y. This is the shape. You saw over here that the... Oh, this is where I messed up the arrows. You saw over here that it has 6 points, so we're going to make an array of 6 for the shape X and shape Y. New float, 6. Just like that, and then we're going to set the shape. Let's go ahead and finish up the constructor first. I'm just going to put the set shape method down here. Just so I get rid of that error. So anyway, let's finish up the constructor. We have a couple more things to do. If we're dealing with the large flying saucer, then these are worth 200 points. Okay, and we're also going to start playing the large saucer sound effect. We're going to loop it. Else if type is small, these are harder to hit, so these are worth quite a lot of points, 1,000 points, and we're going to loop the small saucer sound effect. Okay, and last stuff here, fire timer is 0, fire time is 1, so you know, 1 second per shot pretty much. Path timer is 0, path time of 1 is 2 seconds, path time 2 is another 2 seconds, So what this means is basically it's going to travel forward for 2 seconds, then it's going to travel downward for 2 seconds, and then, you know, it'll keep going until it hits the end of the screen, pretty much. So yeah, let's go ahead with set shape. Like I said over here, it's pretty much 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how it, I'm going to set up the shape. So type is equal to large. I have to find out which type it is first. Else, if type is equal to small, then something else. So for the large flying saucers, shape x0 is x minus 10. It's all the way to the left here, 0. So x, y is the center over here. The first point is over here, that's just x minus 10. And shape y, 0 is just y. And then the second point is going to be up here, so it's like off to the upper left. So I'm just going to fill these in. Shape x1 is x minus 3, and shape y1 is y minus 5. Shape x2, I'll just separate these. Shape x2 is x plus 3, and again y minus 5. And I might as well just copy and paste. Shape x3, shape y3 is x plus 10, and this is just straight y, so pretty much the opposite of 0, shape the 0th point. And shape 4 is going to be x plus 3 and y plus 5 this time. And shape 5 is going to be x minus 3, y plus 5. And yeah, that's it. Those are the 6 points for the large asteroid. The small points are pretty much exactly the same, except, you know, it's smaller, so I'm going to use smaller values for this 10, 3, 5. So instead of 10, I'm going to use 6. So that's 6 here. And instead of 3, I'm going to use 2. Instead of 5, I'm going to use 3. So 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 2, 3. That's pretty much it. That's the large and small asteroid shape. Let's make a couple of getters now. Int get score, the amount of points that this flying saucer is worth, and whether or not we should remove. Should remove, return remove. And of course, our update and draw, all important. Public void draw. Let's do update first, or let's do draw first, since it's a lot simpler. So obviously, all we're going to do is just draw from every point to the other point, and then we're going to draw a line from 0 to 3. That's pretty much it. So sr.setColor. Oh, I forgot, I need shape renderer for this. sr, import, set the color to white, and sr.begin. And we're using shape type.line here. So again, I don't know what version of LibGDX you're using, but hopefully it has shape type line. If it doesn't, then you can try to figure it out, or use 0.9.8 LibGDX. That's up to you. We're just going to use a for loop to connect all the dots. I is 0, j is shape x dot length minus 1, I is less than shape x dot length, and wait, I'll just move it over. So the first argument is this, second argument is this, third argument is j is equal to I plus plus. There's our for loop. And we're just going to do sr.line, shape x I, shape y I, shape x j, and shape yj. And that's going to draw the whole outer shell thing. And then we want to draw one more line from 0 to 3. So that's just sr.line shape x0, shape y0, and then shape x3 and shape y3. And that's pretty much our flying saucer right there. So let's go ahead and go into the update. First, we should check if we should fire bullets at the player. If the player is not hit, we should only be firing at the player if the player isn't already hit, because it's pointless. So fire timer plus equals DT. We add more to the fire timer, and if enough time has passed, if fire timer is greater than fire time is 1 second. Remember, so if 1 second has passed, we should try to fire a bullet. If we're using the large flying saucer, remember the large flying saucers will just randomly shoot random directions. So radians is just math that utils at random. 360 degrees is 2 pi, so like that. Otherwise, if we're using these small flying saucers, we have to shoot towards the player. So radians is going to be math utils at a10 we're going to use arctangent to get the angle. my bad. My nose is kind of stuffy. We're going to use arctangent to get the angle to the player given the player's position and of course the flying saucer's position. So this is if anyone knows arctangent, it's just y over x. Player dot get y minus y. Player dot get x minus x. So yeah. And radians is going to be the direction that we're going to shoot the bullet, pretty much. So we're going to add that to the bullets list. Bullet is equal to new bullets, x, y, and radians. And then we're going to do jukebox.play. We're going to play the flying saucer shooting sound. Oops, this is play, not player. So that's pretty much it. For the firing, I mean, next thing we have to do is move along path, pretty much. And again, the path is just move forward, move down, then move towards the end of the screen. That's pretty much it. So path timer plus equals DT. If path timer is less than path time, then over here, move forward. This is where we move forward. dy is going to be 0. This is where we move downward. If path timer is greater than path time 1 and path timer is less than path time 2, then dy is equal to negative speed, so we're just going to move down. And then the last one is just move to end of screen. This is pretty much exactly the same as move forward. So this is if path timer is greater than path time 1 and path time 2, then dy becomes 0 again. And the rest of it is just moving. X plus equals dx times dt, y plus equals dy times dt. What's going on here? Okay, that's weird. And of course, don't forget the screen wrap. If y is less than 0, y equals game height. We only need to screen wrap in one direction because it's only going to be going downwards, so we only need to check if the y is less than 0, and then move it up to the top of the screen. Set the shape, of course, and check if we should remove. If the player hasn't shot it down. And the only time we're going to be removing the flying saucer if the player hasn't killed it yet is if it goes off the screen. So if the direction is right and X is off the right side of the screen, or the direction is left and X is off the left side of the screen, then remove is true. Oh, what did I do here? Game.width, not game.right. That was weird. Okay, that's pretty much it for flying saucer. So, pretty short. Let's go ahead and test it by adding it to the play state. So, down here we have all the stuff. Let's just go back over here. Play state has a reference to the flying saucer and the enemy bullets list. So let's add that in here. Private array list. What do you call this? Flying saucer? Well, actually, there's only ever going to be one flying saucer on the screen at a given time, so we don't need a list of flying saucers. We only need one. So let's do flying saucer here. And import that. But we still do need the array list of enemy bullets, so we're gonna need that. Now the flying saucer, we need a timer. Every so often a flying saucer should appear and try to kill the player. So I'll just call this fs timer and fs time. I always do this. This is the way I always do the timers. I have a timer and then a time. So this is like the accumulator. I think I mixed it up before when I explained the timer over here. But yeah, this is always the way I've always done it when I want something to happen at intervals. So that's the flying saucer stuff. Let's go ahead and set that up in init. Over here, set up BG music. Let's just put it before that. FS timer is 0. FS time is 15, so every 15 seconds another flying saucer should come out. So we have to update player bullets. We can do it over here. Update flying saucers, or saucer, since there's only one. If flying saucer is null, that means there's no flying saucer currently on, so we're going to check, we're going to update the timer, and of course if enough time has passed, if fs timer is greater than fs time, which is 15 seconds, then reset the timer and we're going to create a new flying saucer. Type is going to be random, mathUtils.random, oops. This gives back any value from 0 to 1, so if it's less than 0.5, pretty much a toss-up, heads or tails type situation. We're going to use flying saucer small, otherwise we'll use a large flying saucer. This is a shortcut, like if statement, by the way. If you don't know what this does, basically it's asking, is math.random less than 0.5? And if it is, we're going to set type to flying saucer.small. Otherwise, we're going to set it to large. That's pretty much what it is. So direction, again, it's going to be random, either left or right. So pretty much the same thing. mathUtils.random is less than 0.5. Is it less than 0.5? Then we're going to do flying saucer.right. Otherwise, flying saucer.left. And we're going to create that flying saucer here. Flying saucer is new flying saucer. Using the type, direction, player, and enemy bullets. There we go. Wow, this tabbing is all messed up. But the screen recording only stops up to here, so I gotta keep it inside the screen. Anyway, so if the flying saucer is null, if there is no flying saucer on the screen. However, if there is a flying saucer already, else, then we gotta move it, right? Flying saucer update. And if we have to check if we should remove it. If flying saucer should remove, then flying saucer is equal to null, and we're going to stop jukebox.stop the small saucer and the large saucer. I don't know which one it is, so it doesn't really matter. Just stop both of them. Of course I could just check what type it is and stop the appropriate sound effect, but whatever, just stop both of them. So, last thing we need to do is draw this thing. So in the draw method, draw player, draw asteroids. Let's go over here, draw flying saucer. Again, we have to check if there is a flying saucer. If flying saucer does not equal to null, then we're going to draw it. Flying saucer.draw SR, and of course, draw flying saucer bullets. Print I is 0, I is less than enemy bullets dot size I plus plus. Enemy bullets dot get I dot draw SR. I'm pretty sure I did not instantiate enemy bullets yet in init, so I probably didn't do that. Yeah, let's just do that here. Enemy bullets, this is back up in the init method. Enemy bullets is equal to new array list bullet. I would have gotten a null pointer exception from that. So that's it for the flying saucers. Let's see if it actually works. Every 15 seconds a new flying saucer should come out. Alright, let's just wait. There it is. Oh. Okay. So the bullets are still on the screen. They didn't move. Obviously, because I wasn't updating the bullets. So update flying saucer over here. Then down here, update flying saucer bullets. Completely forgot about this. So for int I is 0, I is less than enemy bullets dot size I plus plus. Pretty much the exact same thing as updating player bullets, except it's for enemy bullets. So can I just copy and paste this? Actually, instead of bullets, it's enemy bullets. So enemy bullets here, and enemy bullets there. Okay, let's try it again, except I'm going to bring down the timer to 5 seconds just so I can test it faster. Where is it? Okay. Okay, cool. Yep. That's another small flying saucer. Can I get the large one at least? Large flying saucer? Come on, man. There it is. Okay. Yep, that's pretty much it. Large one shoots wherever it wants. So, yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video, and the next video is probably gonna be the last one, and that's where I do all the collision stuff, like being able to shoot the player and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the hopefully last one.